Hello creative friends, this is Joy coming to you with another art journal page. So on this art journal page I decided that I wanted to do a quick watercolor background just to get some color and some texture on this art journal page. So I'm using black watercolor paint and I'm trying to get it on my page as quickly as I can and keep it as wet as I can. So that's what I'm doing here because I wanted to do some other texturing techniques on this page, but I need to keep the watercolor paint wet. So I spray it with some water just to make sure it's wet enough. I spray it with some alcohol that I have in a spray bottle, and then I sprinkle it with salt. And I let this dry for a little bit, and then once it's dry, I brush all of the salt off of the art journal page, and then that gives it some nice texture. Here I have a picture of this girl from a magazine, a CoverGirl advertisement you can see here that I previously cut out. So I'm just using my extreme glue stick to glue her down on the page. And then I grab my black gesso because I obviously don't want the advertisement on my art journal page, and I'm using that to cover up the advertisement that's on this picture. My granddaughter, she has come to stay with me, and she's got art supplies here still that she used to play with when I would get her on the weekends. And one of those is these foam stars and foam letters that I guess since she's 15, decided that she's outgrown them. So she has a few things in a stack that she wants to give away. So I see them sitting there and I'm like, I think I could do something with some of this. So I grabbed some of the stars out of the little bucket and some letters, and I felt like that they just went perfectly with this art journal page. So here I'm, figuring out the placement of the stars, and I'm putting those, peeling off the backs and sticking those to my art journal page to get those adhered to the page. And I think that, these stars actually and the letters just match this page perfectly. So I get those down on the page, and if you notice, there's a white line that is on the stars, and so I wanted to put some silver on the white line instead of it being white. I wanted it to be silver. I wish I had some silver glitter glue, but I do not. All I have is silver acrylic paint, so that's what I grab, and I'm just using my paintbrush to quickly paint around these stars with the silver paint to get the look that I'm wanting on these stars. And of course that took some time. That was a little bit time consuming, so I jumped ahead, but it was well worth it. I really like the way that these stars turned out, and I like the silver paint on them. It just gives them a little extra shimmer and shine, and I think it went well with this page that I decided to do. So I continue to trace around the last star here on this page, and I have these letters that I pulled out, and I spelt out the word determination, because this woman just looks like she's determined. And I also found a couple quotes to put on this page that I felt kind of goes with the whole theme of the page. The only thing is as you can see here, it's a stretch to fit this on the page. I didn't have another I, so I took an L and then I just cut the end off of it, so I made it into an I. And then I thought, well, it's going to be crammed, so maybe if I go down the side of the page, but that looked like that was going to be tight as well, and I really liked it across the bottom better. So I decided I'm just going to cram it in there. I tried to look for another ED to put determined, but I didn't have another E or D, so that was out of the question. And then here is the two quotes that I decided to put on this art journal page. So I trim out these quotes that I wanted to put on the page to try to see, where they would go, and I wanted to keep the title of the person who said these quotes with the quotes, so I could add those to my art journal page as well. And then I proceed to sticking down these letters, which ended up, you'll see here in a minute, was a little bit of a challenge, because I thought I could get them all on there, but then it got, again, really tight and I ran out of room. And then I had to come back and try to lift some of the letters up, which these letters stick pretty darn good, so they started tearing the page, and you'll see, just a big mess. But I managed to work it all out. One of the quotes that I'm putting on this page says, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it," which is from Helen Keller. And then the other quote says, "There is no chance, no destiny, no fate that can circumvent or hinder or control the firm resolve of a determined soul." And that's from Ella Wheeler Wilcox. I like those two quotes, and I thought that it went, pretty well with what I'm trying to say on this page, and the title, Determination. So as you can see here, as I'm trying to peel up and move these over to try to make room and get everything in there, it ripped up the paper and the gesso that I had on this page. So I pull out the gesso again with my paintbrush and decide to try to go around the letters and paint over where it peeled up the color of the gesso. And of course, as you could see, it was making a little bit of a mess, but oh well, I managed to contend with that as well. Then I grabbed my extreme glue stick. Oh no, what did I do here? Oh, that's right. I grabbed my silver acrylic paint again and decided to go around the letters, and I'm not completely covering them with the silver. I'm just tracing, because I really want to still see the red in these letters. I just wanted the silver to be on them as well, since I've had the silver on the stars. So as you can see, I kind of zoomed in a little bit where you can see what I'm doing. I'm just in the middle, trying to stay in the middle. Of course, it's not exactly staying in the middle, but it's as close as I can get to staying in the middle of these letters, to try to be in silver in the center and red around the outside. So I continue on to get these letters traced with the silver paint. And then once I get these letters traced with the silver paint, then I adhere my quotes to the page. And I really like the way the page turned out. I like what it stands for and represents. I really like this page. It's a quick, simple page, but it's just a really nice page, I think, and I love the message of the page. So I'm adhering my quote. I'm adhering the person that said the quote, and I got my hand in the silver paint and smudged it, of course. So I adhere the other quote down to my art journal page with the extreme glue stick. And then once I get that glued down, I decide to use the silver paint that I have left on my mat there to put a border around both of these quotes. So that's pretty much the art journal page for today. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, you can give me a thumbs up, or if you'd like to see more, you could subscribe to my channel, or you could leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. I really like the way that this page turned out, and I was pretty happy with it in the end. I realized that this particular journal only had a couple pages left to it before it was done, so I was determined to try to finish up the last couple pages and then do a flip through video of the whole journal. And I believe I have one page left to do, so I hope you guys come back to see that. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.